The pre-commit is really crucial in that it really does give you the opportunity to close the customer ahead of time.
I think it's very important to be yourself within a demonstration.
Initial benefit statement, because and the greeting as well, it sets the tone for the entire demonstration.
Clarify the objection. Bring it out. Truly understand it.
At the end of your demonstration, don't hesitate to ask for the order. The customer's expecting it.
Hello, I'm John Swift, Manager of Sales Education and Learning for United States Customer Operations. In this video, you will be looking at the steps of a successful demonstration and learn how to perform them. This video is an important part of your new hire learning continuum. As a new sales representative, it is imperative that you both understand and practice these demonstration skills. Following these steps will ensure that you remain focused on the customer's document requirements. During your career as a sales professional, you will conduct many product demonstrations. Many times, customers want to see the product before they make a decision. Excellent demonstration skills contribute to your credibility as a sales representative and are invaluable in helping you close a sale. When performed the right way, a demonstration can do the following: knock out the competition, uncover objections your customer may have, and show your customers how your product meets their requirements. At the end of this video, you will hear from people who have successfully performed product demonstrations. They will offer you helpful tips on conducting successful need satisfaction demonstrations. These are people who have been sales representatives, sales managers, or sales instructors. They know what it takes to perform an effective demonstration. Let's start by looking at the different demonstrations we conduct at Xerox.
We conduct several types of demonstrations at Xerox: the Total Capabilities demonstration, the Educational or Training demonstration, and finally, the Need Satisfaction demonstration. Let's quickly review each kind. A Total Capabilities demonstration shows customers the full range of what a product can do. These demonstrations might be done at a trade show or for your manager to show that you know how to use the machine. The Total Capabilities demonstration is sometimes done verbatim or memorized from a script. An Educational or Training demonstration teaches the customer how to use the product. These demonstrations are usually done once a machine is installed. They focus on the how-to. And finally, the Need Satisfaction demonstration shows how the product meets your customer's specific document needs. This video will focus specifically on the Need Satisfaction demonstration. Let's get started. A Need Satisfaction demonstration is tailor-made to fit the customer's needs that you have identified and developed through previous sales calls. During the demonstration, your focus should be on the capabilities of the recommended Xerox product that meets these needs and solves the customer's problems. The natural outcome of this kind of demonstration is a signed order, or at least a decision to move forward. Before we see a demonstration in action, let's look at each individual step. The first step in every successful demonstration is the greeting and initial benefit statement. Next, review the agenda for the meeting and acknowledge your customer's time. Then, go over your customer's objectives, ensuring that they have all been acknowledged. Before continuing, ask your customers if there is anything else they would like to go over as part of the demonstration. Next, get each customer to pre-commit. This is a very important step before actually demonstrating the product. Once you have a pre-commitment from your customers, provide them with a demonstration of the product, focusing on their specific objectives and applications. And finally, review your customer's objectives once again and close the sale. Now that you know what the steps are, let's look at them in action.
Hello, Mr. Peterson. Welcome to Xerox, and thank you for taking the time to come to our demonstration facility.
Well, thank you for having me today.
Today we'll be discussing how our digital solutions have helped businesses like yours increase their productivity by reducing the number of steps it takes to complete their application.
What you just saw was the first step to a successful demonstration, the greeting and initial benefit statement. Notice how the sales rep gave the customer a reason to pay attention, that he will see how the product can help to increase productivity. The key is the initial benefit statement should be an attention getter. Next, you want to make sure the customer is available to see the entire demonstration. Check with your customer about time before moving on to the demonstration agenda. The customer will not be paying attention if he keeps checking his watch.
When we talked last week, we said that it would take approximately 20 minutes to go through the demonstration. Is it still okay with you?
I think that should be fine.
After checking time availability with the customer, review the agenda for your demonstration. This can be done verbally using a flip chart or using a typed agenda. Agendas act as a roadmap by explaining what you'll be covering and also help to cut down on questions the customer may have. Let's take a look at this step.
Great. Well, why don't we go ahead then and review the agenda. The first thing we'll do is review the objectives that we discussed last week. The next thing we will do is perform a machine overview for you. We will also run sample jobs using your actual documents to show you how our digital solutions will best meet your requirements. And lastly, we'll review an implementation plan.
As part of the agenda review, the sales representative mentioned that she would be covering the customer's objectives. This is something that should be identified and agreed on prior to the demonstration. When going over customer objectives, talk in terms of the customer's applications. Call them by name. If you find yourself giving a demonstration without knowing your customer's objectives and applications, you will not be in sync with your customer, and your chances of closing the sale are reduced. Focusing on the customer's needs by restating his objectives will help you close the sale. Let's look at how our sales rep reviews the customer's objectives.
What I'd like to do now, Mr. Peterson, is review your objectives. The first thing you told me was that you'd like to increase the quality of your sales brochures. Is that something that's still important to you?
Yes, it is.
Next, you told me that it was important to decrease the turnaround time of your instruction manuals and also to produce them in booklet format. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And finally, one of the most important needs you had was to meet the distribution deadlines of your invoices. Is that still important?
That's very critical to me.
Okay, well, is there anything else that's not on this list that we might want to discuss today?
Notice how the sales rep reviewed the customer's specific objectives. She mentioned the customer's actual application by name. This step lets the customer know that you took the time to really understand his business, and it also reminds the customer of the problems he currently has with the system he's using. At the very end, the sales rep asked the customer if there were any additional objectives. This step is important because it allows you to uncover any additional needs the customer may have thought of since you last met. Asking, "Is there anything else?" also ensures that you are customer-focused right from the beginning.
Yes, there is, Julie. I'm a little concerned about the complexity of the machine, and I'm not sure that my end users in a walk-up environment will really be able to use the machine effectively.
So your concern then is ease of use?
Yes.
Including ease of use then, does this list capture all of your requirements for today's demonstration?
Yes, it does.
Now, before you start the actual product demonstration, you need to get the customer to pre-commit or agree that if the demonstration shows that the product meets his objectives, an order will be signed. The pre-commitment is a gentleman's agreement, not an attempt to force a decision. If you request this agreement up front, you are much more likely to end the demonstration by closing the sale. During the pre-commitment step, you may also be able to uncover potential objections the customer has not revealed before. You can use this knowledge to your advantage by specifically addressing his objections during the product demonstration, which is our next step. Let's look at how you might ask the customer to pre-commit.
Okay, well, if I can show you how our digital product can meet all the objectives on this list, is there any reason that we can't move forward today?
I see no reason why not.
Great. Let's move on to the machine overview. What we'll be discussing are the input, the throughput, as well as the output features of this product.
Begin the actual product demonstration with an equipment overview.
During
this part of the demonstration, you want to give the customer an overview of the input, throughput, and output. This is a very logical sequence. The amount of information you give will vary based on your customer's familiarity with the product. At this time, don't confuse your customer with too many features. When you make reference to a machine's capability, try to tie it back to the customer's objectives and applications so the customer sees value. You need to be very familiar with your product. Don't be afraid to open panel doors to show the customer the inside of the machine. Point out labels and jam clearance areas. The more comfortable you are with the machine, the more confident you will be. The Sales Information Guide is an excellent resource in helping you prepare for your demonstration.
What I'd like to do now is show you how we can reduce those photographs that you have for your sales brochures very efficiently.
The next step in the demonstration is proof and explanation of benefits. This is where you show the equipment in operation and prove that it does what is required to meet the customer's specific needs. Again, make reference to the customer's actual applications.
Well, Mr. Peterson, you said that you'd like your instruction manuals to be reproduced in booklet format. Let me show you how this product can do that for you. In fact, let me walk you through it so you can do it yourself.
Okay.
You'll simply load your documents face up.
Proof and explanation of benefits needs to happen throughout the demonstration. The customer needs to be satisfied with what the equipment can do specifically for him, as well as comfortable with how easy the equipment is to use. You want to highlight how your solution meets the customer's requirements better than any other solution. One way of getting the customer comfortable with the equipment is to allow him to actually assist you in running his applications, as we saw our sales rep doing.
Can you see how that document's going to improve the turnaround time for you?
Yes, I can. But I am still very concerned about how easy it is to use this machine. And I'm not sure that my end users in a walk-up environment will really be able to use the machine effectively.
If an objection is raised by the customer during the demonstration, you must handle the objection before moving on. If you don't do this, you won't have the customer's full attention during the balance of the demonstration. They will concentrate on the unanswered objection, not on your demonstration. Remember to acknowledge the objection, clarify to make sure you understand the objection, respond appropriately, and confirm to ensure you have the customer's agreement that you've handled the objection.
So you're impressed with the output, but your concern is that the staff won't be able to operate the equipment.
That's right.
Well, Mr. Peterson, Xerox does provide training services. In fact, when we install the equipment, we'd be happy to come out and provide your entire staff with training. Does that make you feel more comfortable?
That would work, Julie.
In this scenario, the customer is worried that the machine is too complicated. Notice how the sales rep acknowledged his concern and offered a solution before moving on with the demonstration. Following the body of the demonstration, you need to summarize the benefits to the customer and reconfirm his needs. Let's see how our sales rep does this.
Great. Well, let's go ahead and review your objectives that we discussed earlier in the demonstration. Your first objective was to increase the quality of your sales brochures. Have we shown you today that through the digital technology we've been able to enhance the quality of the photographs?
That's very important, yes.
Your second requirement was to decrease the turnaround time and produce your instruction manuals in booklet format. Have we shown you through the booklet creation feature of this machine that we've been able to do that?
I was very impressed with that feature, yes.
That's great. The next requirement was that you needed to meet your distribution deadlines of your invoices.
The demonstration is structured to lead naturally to the close. You've already summarized the customer's objectives and stated each benefit clearly. If you planned carefully and showed how your product can meet the customer's needs, you now have the right to ask the customer for the order. Let's see how our sales rep closes the sale.
Absolutely. Very nice.
Well, since we've been able to meet all of your objectives today, Mr. Peterson, what I'd like to do is move forward, fill out the paperwork, and then we'll review an implementation plan. The implementation plan is going to include space and electrical requirements, any acceptable delivery dates, as well as a training schedule for you and your staff.
Great.
Let's move into the conference room and we'll begin to review the paperwork.
Very good.
So there you have it, our steps to a successful demonstration.